So football is pretty hard to predict, and even with that being said, millions of people around the world decide to make outlandish predictions and bets before every single football game. And then there are some people who are actually getting paid to do that kind of thing. These people are grizzled media veterans who have experienced and seen it all, so they should have a better idea on evaluating teams and players, right?
Your number one, who does Houston take? I'm going to go with Johnny Manziel.
If he doesn't get it done as a quarterback, moves to wide receiver, but he's got to be all in on the wide receiver transition.
Sherman, the former wide receiver turned corner, just an average 5th round pick in my opinion.
This is Mel Kiper, and Kiper made his name in the football world by releasing complete draft guides and predicting where each player would go in the draft. But like every other person who has ever made a draft day prediction figures out eventually, it is impossible to evaluate how college kids will do in the NFL. And the best example of Kiper's incompetence came in the heated 1998 NFL draft. As in this particular draft, there were 2 quarterback prospects projected to go 1 and 2. These players were Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf. One quarterback would go on to become a 5-time MVP, 2-time Super Bowl winner, and made 14 Pro Bowls. This quarterback is Peyton Manning. The other quarterback made first-team All-Prison Yard in 2012, had a raging drug and alcohol addiction, and had an interesting mentality. This quarterback is Ryan Leaf. And Mel Kiper really pushed the idea that Leaf was one of the best quarterback prospects of all time. But Kiper's argument completely falls apart when he wrote this. His attitude will be an asset in the NFL and will give him a mental advantage over other players in his draft class.
Knock it off!
Well, he was a bit off on that one. But I'll still give Kiper some credit, because although he's made some ridiculous statements about Leaf, he still thought that Peyton Manning was a better quarterback prospect and projected the Colts to take Manning with the first pick. However, I cannot give him a pass on this one specific quarterback, which made this take by Mel Kiper easily one of the worst predictions of all time. As in an interview before the 2010 NFL Draft, Kiper said that if Jimmy Clausen is not a successful quarterback in the NFL, I'm done. That's it. I'm out. Jimmy Clausen was a hot steaming pile of dog. And even after all that shit from Kiper, it still gets worse. Cause with Jamarcus Russell supposed to go first overall in the 2008 draft, this he said that 3 years from now, you could certainly be looking at one of the elite top 5 NFL quarterbacks. Look out, because the skill level he has is certainly John Elway-like. Now look, I know Jamarcus Russell's problems were more off the field rather than lacking talent, but still, come on. It's your job to determine if a dude can play or not, and he literally couldn't be more off. And it's safe to say at the end of their careers, no, Jamarcus Russell was not John Elway. Do you remember the 2007 Patriots team that went undefeated in the regular season? They ended up making the Super Bowl, but before they made it all the way there, the Patriots came into the game with the best offense in the league and a top 5 defense. But not only the top offense, but literally the best offense in NFL history. Which brings us to this guy. When told the Patriots would only score 17 points in the Super Bowl by a random reporter, Tom gets a little cocky and says this.
We're only gonna score 17 points? Okay. 23-17. I wish he said like 45-42 or something like that. At least he gave us a little more credit for scoring a few points.
But it turns out Brady wasn't the only sex offender who was way too confident with the Patriots win, as Patriots owner Robert Kraft decided even before they made the Super Bowl to trademark the phrases road to perfection, perfect season, and 19-0, making it so no other person could say those phrases without Robert Kraft making money off of that. Now, one of many problems with this was that they never won the fucking Super Bowl and got dicked on by this guy for 60 minutes straight. Twice! In the 2011 NFL Draft, the Texans made an at the time controversial draft choice when they took 5-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro, and 3-time Defensive Player of the Year J.J. Watt over Nick Fairley. And nobody was more critical of this pick than this guy. This is Chris Baldwin. He doesn't like J.J. Watt. And after the Lions took Nick Fairley 2 picks after J.J., Baldwin wrote an article called Texans Will Rue the Night. They took Pizza Boy J.J. Watt over Nick Fairley. And if you're a newer football fan, or just a hardcore fan at that, you might even be wondering who in the hell Nick Fairley even is, as he ended up being a below average player for the Lions who ended his career with about 20 sacks in his career. 20 sacks. 20 sacks. Anyway, this goober had the audacity to call J.J. JJ Watt a pizza boy, and to say the least, his prediction was a bit off. In 2014, the Miami Dolphins ended up going 8-8, and like literally every Dolphins team since Dan Marino retired, painfully average at best. Anyway, after seeing that record and looking at that Dolphins team on paper, a ton of Harvard professors got together and said, this team will dominate their division for the next decade. Might I add that the Dolphins were still in the same division as this guy, and this guy. So what did Harvard see in this Dolphins team, not just for the 2015 season, but for the entire 2010s? Shit, Lamar Miller? Ryan Tannehill? I mean, they had some good defensive talent with Cameron Wake and Brent Grimes, but really, Harvard? This team? Better than this team for the next decade? Come on now. There's no way that you look at this Dolphins team in 2015 and decide that this is going to be a better team than the Patriots for the rest of the 2010s. But even though Harvard got that Dolphins prediction about as far off as you possibly could, it would be damn impressive if any living organism could get any more incorrect predictions than this man. This is Adam Rank, and he is famous for getting as many things wrong as humanly possible when it comes to record predictions for teams. But the worst of his predictions for just this past regular season alone has got to be his bold claim for the NFC East division. Rank said that the Cowboys, who ended up winning the division, would only win 7 games and would fall twice in the regular season to his pick to win the division in the Washington football team. He then said that Washington will have one of, if not the best defense in the league and will dominate the division, becoming the 4 seed in the playoffs. Bro, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt because it's actually pretty tough to make these predictions, but like, they weren't even better than the Eagles, and the Eagles struggled in the playoffs. So moral of the story is never trust a Dan Snyder run football team.
How would you describe the culture surrounding this football team?
You know, the culture is actually damn good.
It's always pretty subjective when we as fans can decide to call a draft pick a bust or someone that lived up to expectations. But this guy decided to call Cam Newton the worst quarterback ever drafted before he even ever played an NFL snap. And I shit you not, the first reason he lists for why Cam Newton is this historic bust was that he didn't have enough experience as a starting quarterback. Like, no shit, dude, he hadn't even started playing. Okay, sorry, I was getting all worked up over some troll trying to get some views. But this fucking cretin is different. Now, I'm not saying this Cam Newton take is even half as bad as anything he's ever said before, but like, just look at this. Like, how does that even make any sense? Sorry about that. I'm done now, I promise. So there's this clip where Colin Cowherd took Carson Wentz over Dak Prescott. Well, to make that clip sound even worse, at that point, Wentz had already been benched for Jalen Hurts and was arguably the worst quarterback statistically in the entire NFL when he was actually playing. And to add more insult to injury, it was not just Aaron Rodgers he was talking about.
Would you rather have Wentz or Dak?
I don't know how you can watch the two. Wentz is bigger, more athletic with a stronger arm. I would take Carson Wentz.
Would you rather have Wentz or Aaron Rodgers?
This sounds crazy. I'd rather have Wentz.
Would you rather have Carson Wentz or Drew Brees?
This is not close. It's Carson Wentz.
Would you rather have Wentz or Tom Brady?
Carson Wentz. Wentz. Carson Wentz. Wentz is a much better thrower of the football.
So these media guys, like Skip and Colin, are pretty well known for saying dumb shit all the time. Believe me when I say this take by Michael Irvin might be the most out-of-pocket thing ever said. Before the 2014 NFL season, Michael Irvin, a guy who played in the league for years, Hall of Famer, a guy who carved up defenses like scissors, knew exactly the amount of dedication it takes to even come close to winning an MVP. So his favorite to win the award? Jay Cutler. The only guy in the league that literally gave zero fucks about his job, coming off of the worst year in his career in years. Safe to say, Jay Cutler did not win the MVP that year, or even came close. Ever. Now, I wanted to give at least a small segment of this video to Rob Parker, professional Tom Brady hater. There is literally a video with millions of views that's just 12 minutes of clips where Parker just gets dicked on by Tom Brady for a straight decade, so I don't feel like I need to even address him any more than I already have. Alright, back to some terrible draft takes. In 2012, Bleacher Report said that the Seattle Seahawks had one of the worst draft hauls in NFL history. In the first round, they took Bruce Irvin, who was pretty solid, but then they took Russell Wilson, one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and Bleacher Report had the audacity to say this. As if the day wasn't bad enough, Seattle selecting Russell Wilson, a QB that doesn't fit their offense at all, was by far the worst move of the draft, with the 2 worst moves of the draft Seattle is the only team that received an F on draft day. Good to see that these Bleacher Report articles never change. Alright, so that's all the predictions I could find. So if you guys enjoyed this... what? There's one more? No, I don't want to talk about it. No. No, I don't want to talk about him. No. Fine, whatever. Just play the clip.
And in a minute, I will go right down the list of teams that will forever regret passing on Johnny Manziel, who pretty soon will change football life in Cleveland, Ohio. One day, I am predicting, Johnny Manziel will become even bigger in the city of Cleveland than his buddy and business partner LeBron James ever was in the city of Cleveland.
Alright, so yeah, if you enjoyed this video at any point, then like and comment if you want, and even subscribe if you feel like you'll come back to watch more videos like this one. Also, watch this video right here. It's really good, trust me. Anyways, until next time.